Daedelus, how you doing?
Fantastic. It's really nice to be back in London.
So when was the last time you were in London?
You know, it must have been just earlier this same year, but it was quite a quick run through. Didn't have the kind of weight that tonight has in a sort of fashion. It didn't have Archimedes, that's for sure.
Yeah, sure. So can you talk us through your live set tonight and the collaboration with Archimedes?
Sure. I've been performing now with this thing called a monom for a long time, and it allows me to do a lot of musical improvisation. But when it came to visuals, I was always at the mercy of whoever was VJing on a particular night. I was getting really ambitious about doing a grander show, and it asked a lot of questions like, what kind of direction do I want to go? Do I want to go video mapping? Do I want to go traditional VJing? What's possible nowadays? And as I was asking more and more people, everyone was kind of coming up with the same answers. You know, hey, you should get a cube and have projections on it or something in video mapping style. And then one dude was like, no. I got this idea that's going to blow up everything. And that ended up being Archimedes, basically. We had to transform the idea quite a bit, had to meet expectations, had to exceed expectations. We had to do all these kind of moving around the idea, but basically it's a wall of moving mirrors that's responsive by a human operator to my music, and creating these kind of spatial rooms within the room, and it has quite a dramatic effect, I feel like, as long as it works.
And how does your live setup work musically? Are you using software, synths, hardware?
So yeah, I use these machines called monoms or monomy, and they are hardware controllers, but they react with software, and I'm using Max MSP. And so it basically allows me to take sample-based material and manipulate it live. So I can, maybe I'm working with some crunk loop of 808s and dirty bass, and then I want to, ram that up against maybe some other sample, but by playing the sample itself, I can really manipulate it out of its space, maybe make it 4/4, maybe make it more of a breakbeat. Just whatever kind of comes to mind or whatever the audience is asking for on a good night is where we can go.
Mm-hmm. And tell us a little bit about your latest project, Bespoke, which is out now on Ninja Tune. Right?
Yeah, it came out not too long ago. I mean, the record world works furiously and fast, so something that came out 3 months ago is very much yesterday's news, but I still feel like people are discovering Bespoke, and it is, all my records are slow burners. I'm not gonna lie, like I'm not one of those people that are in for the quick cut or the radio play. I kind of like the long throw, and I don't mind. If people have a little bit of patience for me, then I appreciate it so much. But yeah, Bespoke is a kind of a collaborative record. There's a lot of guest vocalists, including Inara George, bus driver Bilal, Baths. A lot of really talented people made the record, and I had a blast doing it. It really covers a range of emotions, like a real range of emotions. And I think records should do that. I think records aren't singles, they're not EPs. There's a reason. There has to be a reason.
And would you say that your sound has progressed or evolved at all from your early stuff like Invention?
Absolutely. I'm not interested in making the same record as much as it would probably be more lucrative, or maybe the fans would appreciate a little revisit on some of the ideas I might visit. But truth be told, like that's a previous record. Invention was a record celebrating a very specific kind of jazz and breakbeat and kind of electronic music coming together. Beautiful. But if I do that record again, I'm going to die a little bit. And I have a few other musical ideas I want to express, and so I got to get a lot of records out if I'm going to get to those kind of other territories. Hopefully people again can realize, because we live in a digital age, if there is a record you enjoy from back in the day, please keep on living it, keep on breathing life into it, share it with your friends, let people know that's something you enjoy. And if you feel like maybe you want a different taste, dip into a new record. That's what they're there for.
Yeah, I really enjoy seeing you live on stage with your Victorian your Victorian outfits. What's the inspiration behind that?
Well, I'm very motivated by the Victorian era. Some aspects, not so much. Like we can leave out a lot of we can leave out a lot of things. But in terms of the movements in art and artistry, and especially in invention, the actual act of invention, you have people like Tesla, and Edison. These names that are synonymous with creation, with these huge ideas. And there was a lot of huge ideas that happened during the Victorian era. There was a lot of huge ideas that also happened with art and fashion. There was the kind of the growth of the middle class that allowed people to even think about art, rather than this is something I do because I'm programmed to do it, or this is something I do because I just have these 2 hours every day to whittle a stick down into something that's kind of like a nice spoon. It's crazy that we live in an age of so much excess time and energy, and yet we leave so little room for art. So by trying to inhabit a little bit of a Victorian character on stage, I feel like it both hopefully evokes the good sides of some of these Victorian ideas, and also it leaves me outside of the realm of what people maybe expect from a performer on stage. I mean, people don't know what the Victorian era is about. They don't know what the Victorian era has sounded like. Sure. So I can sound like anything. It gives me a lot of freedom, maybe.
Sure. And what's exciting Daedalus at the moment musically that's out at the moment or recent?
Sure. I mean, everything from, there's like a lot of really talented people from Los Angeles that I'm always big fans of. Sam I Am just released his recent record. There's some new Flying Lotus material that's blowing my mind that I've been privy to. Matthew David is a dude that's like doing incredible work. And then people outside of LA, there's a guy named DJ Clap, who nobody's heard of, which is fantastic because dude's out of Phoenix, Arizona making footwork music, juke, stuff like that. And he's killing it. It's an incredible sound. And like, you know, he has like 340 followers on SoundCloud, and dude's just cutting his teeth. But I came across one of his songs on the random, and I had him remix an artist that I released on my imprint, Magical Properties, this guy LDFT, and like just starting to sing. It's starting to go crazy. There's this dude out of Australia that I'm releasing soon named Galapagos. Okay. He actually designed some of the software I use on stage, and I met him as a software designer. I didn't know he made music, and then when I heard it though, dude, he's killing it. You know Arab music, that producer? Yeah. This dude's like a young Arab music, and yet kills it. Independent motion on both hands when he's playing button machines. It's insane.
With regard to that LA experimental beat scene, do you see it? Do you foresee it going in a particular direction?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, in the sense that there's these new voices. There's always new voices kind of enriching the scene. And people like Shlomo, Salva, Groundislava, they're producing incredibly exciting music that defies the expectations of the beat scene. It doesn't seem to have as much ode to maybe a J Dilla, a Madlib, indeed even Flylo, Dabri, Prefuse. They don't seem to, those aren't the touchstones. They seem to be pulling from other material as well, and you know, even some of the people who have been more established on the scene, people like Carlos Nino and his Aim on Contact project, and he's producing this really soulful jazz that isn't beat music, and yet it's also pouring into the stew. It's fueling the pot to make this whole thing richer. And honestly, I think that's why we're even still talking about LA, is the fact that there is new people, the fact that there is people doing exciting stuff, and that LA still has amazing things left to say. It's a gift.
For sure. We dropped a track in the first episode of our podcast with you and Doom.
Nice.
Impending Doom.
Awesome.
Are there any artists that you'd like to collaborate with?
Yeah, I mean, I could probably just count the ways. You know, Adele, Funky Homo Sapien. You know, his old, full name. Who can not only rap but can actually say something with that. I mean, much like Doom. Doom has these metaphors, these grand metaphors, but that would be pretty awesome. I feel good about that one. I also feel like, to be honest, on the rock side of things, on the different side of things, Victoria Legrand from Beach House, she's dope. You know, she does good things. I had the chance to play a concert with her recently. I was just the opening kind of act, but it was awesome, and got a chance to talk to her a little bit. She's on some stuff. She's a great vocalist.
And finally, what's next on the cards for Daedalus?
A lot of touring. I'm going to be going to Australia at the end of the year, as well as a lot of US stuff. And then, in addition to that, I mean, I'm going to be putting out more music, whether people like it or not. I'm going to be out there with some more sound pretty soon, and if people have a little taste for some adventure, then maybe check it out.
Okay, excellent. Daedalus, thanks a lot for your time, man.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Take